All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into some really fascinating source material. It's all about this idea of a core energy, that invisible spark that supposedly animates every single one of us. We're also going to look at a technology that claims it can help you get that spark back. So, the source material kicks things off with this huge, almost poetic idea. It's framing energy as way more than just fuel for our bodies. It's the grand architect, the fundamental intelligent force behind literally everything.
And boom, right there, the text gets straight to the point. This question really sets up the central problem it's trying to solve. What do we do when we feel that vital energy start to fade in our modern, crazy world?
Okay, so before we can really get into the solution that's being offered, we first have to unpack this whole idea of the invisible spark. What exactly is it? The source basically says that every living thing has this core energy. And, this isn't a new idea at all. It actually echoes through so many ancient traditions. You might know it as prana in yogic philosophy, or qi in Chinese medicine, or even ki in Japan. It's all pointing to the same thing. The text even calls it biophotonic energy, which is this idea that our cells emit a subtle light, a literal inner spark.
So here's the core conflict that the source lays out. It's this contrast between an ancient, natural way of being in tune with this universal current, and what it calls modern static. All the stress and digital noise that leaves us feeling totally scattered and drained.
Okay, so if the problem is this modern static messing with our energy, then what's the fix? Well, let's see what the source proposes.
So the source brings in this technology called sunrise. And I love this metaphor it uses, a cosmic tuning fork. The idea isn't to force energy into you, but to gently remind your cells of their own natural healthy rhythm. It's about remembering how to vibrate at your best.
And this is absolutely the key takeaway. The tech isn't presented as some external magic wand. It's more like a catalyst, a way to help you unlock the potential that, according to the source, is already inside you. It's about remembering and reactivating your own energy.
Right, so how in the world does this cosmic tuning fork actually work? Let's dig into the nuts and bolts of it.
The source breaks the whole process down into three main steps. First, it claims to gently boost the natural electrical charge in your cells. Second, it uses something it calls two arrays to harmonize your body's energy fields. And third, it's designed to support your metabolism by helping your body use hydrogen more efficiently to make energy.
Okay, now this is where things get really specific. The source actually gives us a number, a real data point. It says the electrical charge for healthy human cells is somewhere between -70 and -90 millivolts. Why does that matter? Well, it takes this kind of abstract idea of cellular recharge and tries to ground it in something measurable.
So then the document pivots a little bit. It moves from energy to another piece of the puzzle, hydration. And it kind of poses the question, is being hydrated really as simple as just drinking more water? According to this source, real hydration is deeper than just quantity. It's about the quality of the water inside your cells, how well it's structured, and how efficiently your body can actually use it. It's about unlocking what it calls the body's liquid wisdom.
And if you can achieve this enhanced cellular hydration, the text claims you'll see some very real physical benefits. We're talking about things like being more flexible, feeling more resilient, and just moving more smoothly and easily. So we've looked at the mechanics of it, but how does all this translate into a bigger shift in your overall well-being? That's what this next section is all about.
So the ultimate goal here, as described in the source, is to move you from a state of just surviving your day-to-day life to actually thriving. The whole idea is that by clearing out these subtle energetic blockages, you can unlock what the text calls your inherent blueprint for thriving.
So what does thriving actually look like in day-to-day life? Well, the source lists these really practical outcomes: a boost in your natural energy, better hydration and flexibility, less stiffness, and just a general sense of balance and vitality. It's about getting your body's natural rhythm back on track. To make all this a bit more tangible, the source document wraps things up with a really practical Q&A section, and it's all from the perspective of this narrator character named Zoran. First up, the question pretty much anyone would ask right away. Okay, so what does a session actually feel like?
Well, the experience is described as being super gentle, non-invasive, and deeply relaxing. The source makes it sound less like a treatment and more like having a quiet internal conversation with your own energy field.
And then, of course, the next big question, how long do I have to wait to actually see some results? The answer here is pretty clear. It's all about patience and consistency. The Source uses this beautiful analogy of a slowly blossoming flower. You might feel some things right away, but the really deep benefits, those apparently reveal themselves over time, with consistent use.
And I think this last part is just brilliant, because it really drives home the core message. It's not just about passively using a device. The Source includes these dragon trials, which are practical exercises, things like meditations and awareness rituals, to really encourage you to actively engage with your own energy.
So we'll end on this final thought from the Source. It's a pretty provocative question, and I love how it turns the whole thing back on you. It's not just asking what you've learned from all this, but what are you actually going to do with that knowledge? How will you engage?